It is a China Cat Sunflowers CCP. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Always Almost There, Day After Show. Thank you for being here. Hi, Neil.
Oh, coming out hot today.
Oh,
Love
yeah. You know what? I planned that earlier. I was like, you know what? That's going to be the first thing out of my mouth when we go live today.
Just grinding axes to start the day. I love it.
Oh, perfect. Well, I mean, nobody was on to hear that anyway, so.
Yeah.
So we're safe for now. How are you doing on this fine Saturday afternoon?
I'm doing great, man. I have listened to last night's show more, I think, than I have ever listened to a show the day after a show before we've done the day after show.
That seems hyperbolic.
No, it's true. It's absolutely true. This is not hyperbole. Yeah, I'm wearing my houseplant shirt in honor of Louisville.
There we go.
Home of Houseplant, who I've never seen live because I don't go to Louisville.
You have a shirt.
Yeah, I do have a shirt.
There you go. Well,
it's a great shirt.
As you mentioned, I've also listened to selects from last night's show many times today. And oh boy, what a show it was. We've got a guest coming on in just a minute. Actually, right now, let's bring him on. Hello, Coop. How are you doing?
Hey, guys. How are you? I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being on today. Excited to chat with you about last night's show.
For sure.
So, take us through it. Get your thoughts. If you want to give like a little brief touch on night one, how you were feeling going into night two, and then getting to the venue. Yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I didn't make it to night one for work and kid related reasons, but I did the old couch tour and. I thought night one was awesome, but I saw a lot of meat left on the bone there. So I was pretty excited for night two. And it didn't disappoint. It was awesome. I thought the first set, was a great first set. That All I Need was amazing. And then, but a lot of like good songy first set, which was great. Mm-hmm. And then, the second set was awesome. The Empress and then the Redbird was great. So it was a great night.
Awesome. Whereabouts were you in the venue last night?
So I was like two or three rows in front of the soundboard. So I was kind of under the awning, which I've been to the Palace a bunch. I don't always love it under there, but last night the sound was amazing. So I had, I could hear everything perfectly. I could hear the harmonies really well. So sound-wise, it was a great spot and great people around us. So it was good.
Love it. Neil, how are you feeling going into last night?
I was excited. We've been talking about this. There's an arc with the music right now, and it just feels like they're in a really good spot. And so, like, I was cautiously optimistic because we've talked about this before. They came out the gate hot at the cap run, and then I don't think they kind of matched the intensity throughout the rest of the cap run as they did on the first night. This is actually, they are matching this intensity throughout, and things are on the way up. So at least for the foreseeable future, I'm going to be really, really stoked about whatever Goose show is coming up. So last night I was excited.
I think we're all really stoked anyway, regardless of how the band is playing.
True. And, but there's like
Goose
extra
fans,
excitement. There's extra excitement there when they're playing really well, and they're playing really well right now. You get a little extra stoked.
It's true. And you're winning Fantasy Goose, so that also.
I mean, that's actually that lowers the excitement a little bit because there's a lot of nerves, there's a lot of pressure to continue to succeed, especially when I have friends who are brutal. And,
well, you have like a 20-point lead right now, so.
I do.
Coop, do you play fantasy?
I do not. I think I need to, though. I've been following it a little bit, so I just, I get a little too competitive with that stuff, like with fantasy football, and I don't want to bring that into my Goose world just yet. But I think I'm leaning that way.
Love it. Well, we do have another last minute guest joining us, noted AAT contributor Katie. Hi, Katie.
Not a noted contributor. Hi, guys.
How are you?
Good. I'm at a Georgia rest stop, so I'm good.
Yeah,
love it.
Things are on the up and up.
Back in Georgia.
Oh man,
how are you feeling going into last night's show, and where were you sitting?
I'm still like processing it. I was in I can't say the word.
Loge.
Yes, I was up there in I guess section 2. You could kind of like hop around, and so we found a great spot. I was with Danny and Haps, and Brendan and Becca were in our section, so it was fantastic.
A party.
It was a party. We found
Party.
great people to be around. So yeah.
I love it. Well, show opens, that we get 178 show bust out of Howard Johnson's Got His Hojo Working. Last played 10, 15, 20. And then California Magic and the Whales. Coop, why don't you start us off? How are you feeling on these first 3 songs?
Yeah, I wasn't too familiar with the Mojo song, but it was just kind of instant, that rockabilly kind of groove that it has. Instantly, everybody was just jumping up. It wasn't like a slow entry into the show. It was just dance party instantly. So that was a lot of fun. And then Cali Magic is great. I love that song. It's my wife's favorite song, and she's 2 for 2 on it now on her 2 shows she's been to. So she was happy right off the bat. So no complaining. And then
Nice.
Whales is one of my favorite Peter songs. So that was great. Great start.
I love it. And now for the opposite opinion, Katie, what did you think of the first 3 songs of last night's show?
Very opposite.
Oh,
I was
man.
there at the beginning. So Howard John, it's exciting for it to open. I'm not super familiar with it. I don't listen to it much, but I do. The excitement of people realizing that it had just been so long. That was just a great way to start it. Everyone was just really stoked about that. Then into California Magic, my opinion on that's very known. I'm not very into it. I think there was some Kentucky Magic last night, but we went through that. Whales, it's a great song and always excited to play it. I think I yelled out something about orcas during it, so I was bringing the news to the
Sea creatures.
Yeah, I was and then I'd say once All I Need started is when everyone's like, oh, okay, like everyone is hyped. Somebody found something in those first 3, but once All I Need begins, it was like, okay, here we are. Let's go.
Yeah, I thought it was a solid trio to open the show. The bust out is always cool. Bringing back a cover that had only been played, was it twice before, right, Neil? It was the first
Twice
time played.
before,
It was your
as
first
far as we know. But I think I heard some chatter that it may have not appeared on like Goose.net set lists and been played before that, but I don't know.
show. Ooh.
I don't know. Brian,
But if
sorry.
if we're looking at Goose.net, there's only 3. The first time it was ever played was in Yarmouth in 2020. It was the very first song they played coming out of the pandemic, which is amazing. That was also my first Goose show. And I remember very well standing there after having listened to all this Goose throughout the pandemic, so psyched on the band. And they opened with Howard Johnson's Got His Hojo Working. And I was like, what the hell is this? I had no idea what it was.
Who is
What did I get
NRBQ?
And so I think folks there who didn't know Howard Johnson's Got His Hojo Working, I understand how you feel, because it just doesn't sound like a Goose song. It doesn't sound like a song Goose would normally cover. It's just outrageous, but it's cool. And now it's like this cool rarity. And it's funny because I've talked a lot about Hojo over the years. When I was picking switch-in openers for the Jive Goose, like slap winning contest for picking the opener, I always said switch-in until they actually played switch-in. And then I had to pick something else. So I just picked Hojo.
There you go.
And they never picked it. Well, the goal of the game was to not win the game, because I had won so many Jive Goose slaps. I was trying to find ways to
You're
not
so
win them.
good at guessing things.
That's how I play.
Yeah.
I took over that role.
There we go. Where Neil, you're inspiring people. People knew what it was because of you. So
There
It
you
was
go.
excited to hear that breakout, because I thought, what did we hear in Bozeman, Ryan?
Cantaloupe
Another-
Island.
What? Yeah, I was like, look at all these shows that I'm at. Play these.
Katie's getting bust outs.
Yeah.
Racking up the stats.
There we go.
Well, then after these first 3 songs, the venue goes nuclear with this All I Need. The beginning of the jam, that kind of like dark segment, reminded me a lot of how the Cap All I Need started. Kind of like a very sparse groove, lots of like eerie piano stuff from Peter. And then it just modulates into this insane motif that, like, you can hear like the crowd on the soundboard, the crowd just starts yelling immediately. Like I assume you guys can tell, and I'm really curious to hear more about like what that moment felt like in the room during this jam, and just this insane peak. So Coop, what was this like for you, this jam?
Yeah, it was really cool. The spooky vibes that started off, like you said, were awesome, and I thought that's when the lights really kicked in for me. They had some green lights going during that were really cool. That kind of added to the spooky vibes. But then, yeah, when it started to pick up and it kind of segged into that almost Hollywood Nights thing, I thought it was Hollywood Nights, and all the people around me, we were like, okay, here we go, and then they just kind of jammed it out. But I mean, yeah, the place was going crazy. It was really awesome.
Katie?
Coop, where were you sitting? I'm just curious.
I was like right in front of the soundboard, like 2 or 3 rows, kind of under the balcony a little bit. So
yeah,
I didn't always have the best views, but the sound was really nice around.
Yeah. I think we heard really different things. Like upstairs was pretty quiet as far as the crowd in some ways. Like it was it's almost people were like looking at each other like, holy shit, this is happening. But now that I've re-listened to it, I hear a lot more yelling that I didn't hear during the show, which is just interesting.
Yeah, I think under that balcony, I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah,
it's
People
just interesting. It's like
that
completely
balcony.
different. Sorry, I'm eating candy and talk. I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
You're good. I think
there you go, Neil.
We're on the same page. Yeah.
Oh man. So I'm excited to talk about this All I Need. It's really good. And it's not a giant All I Need, but it's still a very, very good one. There is the petting the blanket jam right off the bat, which is wonderful. It's really, really good. The interesting thing about that jam is it's actually a super familiar jam that can, I think, at times feel repetitive to me. It was just a few notes out of that kind of tarantella Italian folk songy jam that they throw into Creatures. We talked a little bit about this last night. I don't know if you agree, but that's what it sounds like to me.
I feel like it's more of a Nash Cakesy or Cap All I Need kind of motif, like based on what Peter was doing on the piano. Reminds me a lot of that kind of space more than the tarantella. But I hear what you mean.
It's almost as if they don't complete, like they've just subtracted notes from the scale that they are playing when they're playing it. That's what it sounds like to me. And then the most outrageous turn. There it is. There it outrageous in the song, and then they just do this giant peak. And we were talking about it in the moment. But folks were like, "Is this Hollywood Nights?" And I was like, "I don't know. This sounds like it's just going to be a peak." And then we were talking about live tweeting it on the set list. Good thing you didn't.
There was no moment where I was going to. Okay, I'm not you. I don't have a quick trigger finger like that.
Really, really easy to say that the day after the show. Man, it's really, really easy to say that.
It sounded like Hollywood Nights, and they could have gone into it, but I wasn't. My finger was not hovering over the button.
I don't know if that's true. I got receipts, but in any case, it's really good. This whole jam is awesome, and the peak. If you listen, at least for me, when I listen to the boards, the crowd loses their mind at this peak. I mean, it comes up over the music, which is pretty good. I mean, I guess Peter mixed it just right because it just cuts in there. And of course, they are messing with us. We can't talk about this jam without talking about the fact that Goose is messing with us, because they finish and then fake out the second jam, and then there's like
they faked the second jam.
Yeah, they were like if you look, they were like they were poised to kick back in, and then they just completely stopped. There was some giggles on the stage, and then
there was a pancakes fake out.
Ben did the pancakes fake out.
I thought it was Jeff. I thought it was Jeff. Peter corrected me in the show notes, so thank you, Peter.
I saw that. I thought it was Jeff too.
Yeah, but you know what? I've changed it on elgoose.net to be Spuds because
Peter
I trust Peter being on stage and seeing which one of them did it.
I don't think anybody's any closer, but
but that was funny.
Yeah, it was really cool. What did that look like for you guys? Is my impression correct? Did it look like they were, at least the drummers were about to go into Like the All I Need second jam. Did you pick up on that at all or no?
I picked up on Peter he was holding his arms up kind of a lot. It did look like something was coming, and then, Ben went into the pancakes. So I did clock that, but I didn't necessarily see the second jam coming.
Right. Was there we lost Katie. Was there a reaction from the crowd at the pancakes fake out, or was it just kind of like lost in the moment?
Oh yeah. No, people caught it. People were laughing, and you kind of saw the band laughing at each other. So yeah, that was funny.
It was like I think they were also after that, like they needed to catch their breath for a second and be like, holy shit, that jam that we just did was amazing.
Yeah, a lot of energy in that jam. And there was a certain looseness from the stage last night, which we'll point back to a little bit later when we talk about the encore too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they just seem like they're really having fun right now. And I know that's like, I don't know, it's kind of cliche. And it's like, oh, the band looks like they're having so much fun. But from the stage, there was quite a bit of laughing, quite a bit of banter last night. It really does seem like they're having a blast in Louisville. So just want to play.
It's a fun town.
They like playing there. First set finishes off with Seekers on the Ridge and SOS. Coop, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm a big Seekers guy. I know it's considered a bathroom song on this podcast sometimes.
Only one of the parts.
Only the first part. I like the first part.
And only by me, really.
Yeah. I'm a big indie rock guy, so it kind of scratches that Fleet Foxes itch for me, the first part especially. And then, the second part is amazing, always. And, Rick's solo on that is always awesome. And then I love SOS too. Then Dawn, there was a good Jeb bomb and Dawn at some point in there. That was awesome. So yeah, I thought it was a great end of the first set. Kind of thought there might be another longer jam, but I'll never complain about, the SOS to finish off a set.
Yeah, SOS is such an incredible set closer. And hey, we've talked about on the pod a lot. If you're getting the Seekers in the show, this is the optimal placement for it. Late first set.
For sure.
That's where you want it.
Yeah.
Not in the second set.
There's no hate for Seekers, but if you go to a lot of Goose shows, you've seen Seekers. Yeah. And, you got to figure out, if you go to a lot of Goose shows, you got to figure out when you're going to the bathroom. And Seekers 1 is your best opportunity, especially in that situation. Then you can play the Seekers game, which we talked about last night, which is similar to the old man's boat game, which is you have a limited amount of time to get back to the part that might be a little bit different.
Right. So, and also, let me put this in perspective a little bit for people who might not be understanding the Seekers thing. It took me until my 21st show to see my first Seekers. I'm now at 34, and I have seen 5.
Oh.
It's a lot of Seekers.
It's a lot of Seekers.
Yeah. Well, if you went in 2021 too, that you saw a lot of Seekers. It was like
Seekers.
every third show. It's crazy.
Coming to Peach next week.
Yeah. Yep. For sure. Oh man, you're gonna bring a Seekers with you, aren't you?
Wait.
Probably not.
I don't know. Anything can happen. We'll see what happens. Maybe they'll play it in Columbus. Anyway, yeah. And I had in 12. Yeah, they follow you. Coop, what was set break like for you last night?
Oh, it was good. I went and some of my buddies were down like really close. There's like 4 aisles at the bottom of the Palace, and they were like on the first aisle, like 7 rows back or something. So I went and hung out with them for a little bit. I should have probably stayed there for second set, but I was actually there. My wife and I were there with my aunt and uncle, and I felt like I needed to take care of them. Make sure my uncle was good. So we went back to our spot, but it felt like a short set break though. It was kind of enough time to go to the bathroom, get a drink, water, whatever, say hey to some people, and then boom, they picked right back into it.
Yeah, again, huge shout out to Sam King for the clock management these first 3 shows of Summer Tour. They have been on a fantastic schedule, getting, great lengths of a show in, short set break, starting relatively on time. So pretty good, pretty good. Wait, do you guys have any expectations throwing around what songs you were hoping or thinking they were going to play?
Not really. I'm kind of open. I haven't been to too many shows, so I've still got like a lot on my board. So I was going to be happy with a lot of different things. Now, I had been to the Cincinnati shows So I was kind of like, okay, we got Cali Magic, we got Seekers,
Yeah.
so I was hoping for some more variety from those shows, but I was just happy to be there. It was such a fun first set that,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of up for whatever.
Yeah. And so then they come out for set 2. First couple
Mhm.
songs, we get Empress into Silver Rising. I like this kind of Empress. Not every Empress needs to be 20, 25 minutes long. Obviously, when it's a 25-minute version like Eugene, yes, please. But, I feel like they've played a lot of 20-plus minute Empresses that are just like Empress for 20 minutes and doesn't necessarily need to be that long. And so coming out of the gate for a second set and opening with a 12 or 13-minute Empress, whatever this one was, I think is a great move. And I love it in this slot. Nice, solid jam, energetic, picks it up, and Silver Rising, always wins for me. Coop, what were you feeling about these?
Yeah, Empress was great. It just kicked the second set off. It kind of almost felt like that first set. I know, other people might not have liked the opener, but I thought, at least where I was, it kind of got people dancing right away. And the second set felt like that too. The Empress, those opening notes, it just kicked right back in, and everybody was really excited. There were some people, because of the short set break, still rushing back to their seats, but it seemed like everybody locked back in pretty quickly. And then Silver Rising was awesome. I love those vocal rounds, and it sounded really good where we were. My wife wanted me to tell you all. She said it was transcendent, the Silver Rising. So
perfect.
She was very happy about that. So, yeah,
Neil, you can add that one to the vocabulary.
There you go.
I do use transcendent a lot, actually. I think I do. I don't know. It fits in the wheelhouse there with the hyperbole. Right. But no, in this case, it is transcendent. Silver Rising is always great. It's always awesome. Gets played frequently and deserves to be played frequently. Like, I won't complain about the song being in a second set. It's great. And yeah, man, Empress second set opener, really, we had some expectations there. We really thought that maybe it was going to be like Eugene again, which opened the second set and was outrageous. I am a huge Eugene Empress supporter.
Yeah.
And which is weird because for so long, I don't want to say I disliked Empress, but I had to do work on behalf of the podcast to kind of defeat the Empress fluffing.
For anyone who wants
that
more
has given me a
background on
reputation.
This, for anyone who wants background on this, should go and listen to our very first episode ever, the Jam of the Year 2021 bracket. It's there's some
Empress talk in
shared.
There are opinions shared. So I spent all these years, 1 year, just kind of saying like, Empress is not as good as Brian says it is.
Said past tense.
But now all of a sudden Eugene Empress has changed everything because I'm really excited about Empress now when they play it. So yeah, man, this was not that. It was still very good. I love it as a second set opener. I don't know how many times that's been done. Was Eugene the first time? I don't look at things like that, but I know you do.
No, its debut was actually opening the second set.
No, I was there. That's classic that I don't.
Come on, Neil. You may get confused because I think there's like an introduction or banter track before it on Nuts.
Yeah. But... Wow, that's amazing. It's amazing that you know that. But in any case, it is a great second set opener. Well, the funny thing is, now that you brought it up, we're going to just talk about shows that are not this show, all show.
Perfect.
The shows that I've been to. So when they played Empress that was at South Farms, and nobody around me knew what it was except for the people who had been seeing Vasudo like a million years ago. So it was a pod show. So there's 500 people on the side of a hill in Connecticut. And there's people just standing there kind of like, what the hell is this? And then a couple little pods where people are going crazy. It was the funniest thing. I had no idea what it was. I did not know, but now I do.
There you go. Well, then we move into the main event of the show. This Redbird. This was cool too because right off the last note of Silver Rising, Peter was directly into Redbird. Did not waste a single second, and they did not waste a single second in this jam. Coop, I want to hear from you first, and then I want to throw it to Neil before I give my thoughts on it as well. But Coop, talk about this Redbird.
It was awesome, and being in Louisville, Louisville Cardinals. I think that the Redbird drop was appreciated by the audience, so it was just great. I mean, I don't know the technicalities of the jams like you guys do and can't articulate it as well as you guys, but everyone around me was just locked in, and you could tell it was kind of when the vibes were peaking in there, and people were just having a blast, and everyone was kind of, I don't know, I started to get the vibe that everyone was like, this is a good show, like this is a special show here in Louisville, so it was great.
Love it. Neil.
Yeah, I had that same reaction. It's funny when you listen to a show and you're hearing something really special, it's a strange feeling that washes over you, right? Because you don't want to immediately be like every note you hear is your favorite note. But at some point during a jam, you have to admit to yourself, like, oh, this is really good. Like, this is really, really, really good. And that's what happened to me during this Redbird last night. And it's a feeling that I haven't really had many times this year already, where I've been like, oh man, like this is really good. But, because I have the friends that I do, I don't want to go out on a limb or anything. I got to give it some re-listen.
I get punished for that a lot.
And I mean, I have in the past, like, just stood up and said immediately, like, this is one of the best jams they've ever done, right? Raleigh Matavan, I said that night. I was like, this is,
yeah.
I don't care what anybody says.
We had a consensus on that, like during set break after it was played. We were like, this is the new GOAT, Matavan.
Yeah, this was best. That one was easy. This is a little bit different. I don't know if it's in the same territory as that, but this is one of my favorite jams they've played this year. This is also one of my favorite jams they've played in the last 12 months. I think that's really easy to say.
Ooh, yeah, definitely.
And so yeah, you caught a special one, man. It's a really, really good show. I'm not saying it's the jam of the year. I know we have a reputation out there where we call every song the jam of the year.
You just did that off record, before we went live.
Yeah. I mean, it might be. Who knows? But I do know
anything could be the jam of the year if you believe hard enough.
Yeah. If you're the kind of person who looks for really good jams, look no further than the second set, because this Redbird is outrageous.
Yeah. You saved it.
One more thing. One more thing about it from being in the room was just, that room is very kind of operatic in and of itself. There's a lot of balconies, like the ceiling looks like a night sky. There's a lot of statues and stuff. And the end of it, when they had these black and white lights kind of going, they were like behind the band, projected behind them. It really, and kind of the way the music was building, it did kind of add to that operatic feeling, and it really fit the room perfectly, I thought.
Yeah, Getty was on fire during this jam. The clip that I posted on Instagram this morning, as I was watching it, I was like, whoa, like Getty is just on fire. These new the spinning things on the like little towers behind the band have been amazing. These shows, huge shout out to Getty about this.
For sure.
And then it doesn't end. It's like, this isn't the end of it all.
Like
that's just the crazy thing.
Yeah.
Then you get Echo, which late second set Echo is not a very frequent placement for this song, but I love this placement for this song. We have this like Pine Creek 2021, also second set closer, like
big fan of that jam.
And just unleash like a hot fire upon the audience. Like just a relentless echo that just keeps the energy going from this Redbird and closes the set so well. Coop, how are you feeling? How was the crowd feeling during this echo? How are your aunt and uncle feeling at this point in the show?
They might have dipped out by this point, but
okay.
I give them a lot of credit for making it as long as they did. I mean, my uncle's an old deadhead, so he's experienced in the scene, but they had a blast though. They were just, clock was ticking a little bit. But I think what you said, the energy is really what I got out of the echo, especially coming, Silver Rising into Redbird, kind of like heavier songs, and just the bounce of echo at the beginning really just kind of took things through the roof.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. This Echoes is awesome. This is the one I'm going to talk about every time we talk about this Redbird. I'm going to be like, but don't forget about the Echo. because this echo is that energy sustained, from Redbird through this echo. I do love like a late set heater of an echo. You mentioned the Pine Creek echo. I think I bring it up every fourth or fifth podcast because I just love it. And this one does somewhat of the same thing. It doesn't kind of, blast off right away. Peter kind of toys with some like show tunesy kind of stuff. And then Rick is just like, no, this is where we're going. And then it just takes off. And I mean, that's almost as much fun to listen to as the Redbird. It's not the same like quality of jamming or anything like that, but I love the two back to back. I think probably if I listen to that Redbird, I'm always going to listen to this echo after because it is that good and it's interesting. And it's just, it's exciting stuff.
Goose is
the stuff that they're doing right now. Well, they're doing what they were doing last year in around March, where they're going out every night and they're playing multiple interesting jams, not jams that seem like they're going through the motions or jams that sounded just like the last time they played a particular song. They're all a little bit different. You get an All I Need with very, very different feel. Like, I don't even know if I know an All I Need that kind of sounds like the one they played in the first set. You get this Redbird, which does have a similar vibe to some jams that they played last year, but still very different than what they've been playing lately.
It does it in a different way.
Yep, it does.
Yeah.
And then this echo is just perfect. They didn't have to do a 20-minute version, but they still got some quality improv in there. I'm not going to call it a micro jam or anything, but it is a nice brief jam that goes to a good place.
Yeah. And then encore, we get a hell of an encore. This Old C right into Thatch. I feel like the This Old C at the Ryman felt like they cut it off or don't do it, and there was no jam, whatever. While there was still no jam in this one, and I was a little disappointed there wasn't going to be a jam. I feel like dropping the jam for a Thatch to close the show, reasonable.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah. How are you feeling during this encore, Coop?
It was great. I love This Old C. But, I kind of got the vibe. I was like, okay, they're going to kind of like let us down easy and kind of take a ballad out. I mean, I know they can jam it out, but the final kind of they did the chorus 3 times at the end, really was kind of felt like an emotional peak for the night for the audience. Everyone was really into it. People were singing along. And then, my initial feeling of that they're going to let us down easy, and then they just dropped right into Thatch, and I was like, okay, maybe not.
Maybe let's go.
Yeah, they're going to funk us up a little bit. So it was great. I loved it. It was a great way to end the night.
Amazing. Yeah, this Thatch last night, removes me from the 50% club of the song. I've seen it 8 times, and that was the 17th Thatch. So maybe I'll get back into the 50% club next week. We'll see what happens.
I think you will.
Seems likely. But this Old C continues to elude me, sadly.
It's you'll get it eventually, Ryan.
Yeah.
It's
my most common not seen original at this point.
Yeah, I hope I get my Angborg before you get your This Old C, so then I can just tease you mercilessly.
I'll be very happy if you get your Angborg, because I've still seen it, a
6
bunch
times.
more times.
Yeah. So, but on paper, this encore is possibly the best encore ever.
Yeah. Seriously.
I don't know how you do an encore better than your best ballad, one of your best ballads, arguably your best ballad, and
one of your best
Thatch.
songs.
One of your best songs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nuts. I mean, they put together a good set list for this crowd. I mean, they care about Kentucky, obviously.
Yeah.
Awesome. Execution wise, I don't know if there's anything to write home about that happened in that encore, but still 2 awesome songs. There's nothing bad about that. They wanted to play a good one. They wanted to play a good pair for Louisville, and they did. So what a run, man.
Yeah. It was amazing. It was amazing. And, no show tonight. Band is they're hanging out at Electric Forest, I guess. And we get tomorrow night. It was not announced with the whole live stream package, but it was quietly slipped onto Nugs a couple of days ago. They will be webcasting tomorrow night's set from Electric Forest at 9:00 p.m. Eastern. It is free for Nugs subscribers, just like all the other shows on this tour. So thank you to Goose and Nugs for doing that for us. It means we get to watch from home, which is Fantastic.
It's good stuff.
It's good stuff. Well, thank you, Coop, so much for coming on today. It's been a pleasure to chat with you about last night's show.
Yeah,
thank
thanks,
you,
guys.
everybody. Yes. Thank you, everybody, for listening and tuning in on your Saturday afternoon. We will be back here on Monday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern to talk about tomorrow night's show and whatever amazing festival things they decide to pull out. Will they do Thatch?
Again? Yeah. Will they
It's
do
entirely
Animal and
possible.
Thatch? I mean, it's more than entirely possible.
It's very
highly
possible.
probable. Yeah.
With a big asterisk, don't quote us on this if they don't. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, have a great rest of your day.